orthopedic debates are simple. Most can be easily settled on biology, biomechanics, experience, evidence, and if something remains, that could be settled over a glass of beer. So thankfully, when we debate, we can debate on all of those four things. So traditionally, when we looked at AVN, we were taught this classification, stage 1, 2, 3, 4, Ficart Arlet. But as I say, most debates in orthopedics can be solved primarily by biologics. So we knew that this is how the biology progresses. And what actually happens, and if we have to give one answer to the patient, is by clearly understanding what grade it is. We have been taught about stages, but really what matters is the grade of the surgery. So if you look at the way it progresses, it's the ischemia, cellular injury, bone infarction, inflammatory response, bone collapse, and secondary arthritis. So choosing the right regime at the right grade is more important perhaps than the stage. So obviously we are talking about these patients in this talk today, which is grade 3A, 3B, and not stage 1 or stage 2. Because no matter what regime you follow, if you have got a small pre-collapse lesion, the studies have shown that there will be 70 to 90% people who will do well, no matter what you have done. It's only that if you have just put a name to it, then you get the credit that, oh, we have been able to salvage the hip. But now the evidence is very clear that a pre-collapse small lesion in AVN would have good outcome whatever you try. When I was young, I'm still young, but when I was relatively more younger, then I believed that multimodal approach of AVN is the salvage. And I did everything possible in the world to ensure that my hip survived. So we did drilling with 1, then we had 2, then we did bone marrow aspiration, we had graft, we used ecosprin, we used all kind of alendronate available at intralesional, IV, this. So when we use so many things, there can be only 2 rationales. Either everything works or number 2, nothing works. So then I said that, okay, I'll move away from these things to more traditional things. So I talked to the preachers, the guy Philip Hernigu, who actually described bone marrow aspiration. And I was fortunate enough to meet these people in person and talk to them. What really works? What is it that works in your hand but doesn't work in my hand? They said they all had their own regime. It is always fancy to have a named regime from things. So I decided I'll have my 15 months of fame by creating my famous regime. So I combined BMP, I combined allograft plugs, and mesenchymal stem cell. I thought I'm taking care of biology and biomechanics both. So like everyone in the world, I also wanted my own regime. And so here I was with all of those things. But lo and behold, as I said, most debate can be settled on biology, biomechanics, and then experience. And the experience taught me that no matter what I did, no matter how much I pushed the boundaries, I always ended up like this. One thing that I thought that may still work was osteotomy. I had not tried my hands on osteotomy, so I thought maybe there is some chance that osteotomy can be done. And there were 2 types of osteotomy decided. And wonderful results. If you look at success rates, some of them had such a huge results. But in 15 years of attending various conferences, I asked so many orthopedic surgeons, have you done a single osteotomy for AVN in last 10 years? I couldn't find a single person in the entire hall. And I'll be happy to have at least one hand, show of hand. Has anyone done an osteotomy in last 2 years for AVN? If something works, why should we not? We are all orthopedic surgeons. We have been taught to be aggressive in operating. But if something works, why have we not done? And then the rationale is there. You'll see that this is what it says. These are the people who actually do it regularly, and still they have given so many criteria to be able to do it. Not only it is difficult, but even before the difficulty actually starts, deciding whether it is optimal or not is difficult enough. So what we need to do? So clearly, I decided to meditate and see what's happening. That's in Oman. A lot of people were there with me in Oman. So I believe to know is information, to understand is knowledge, to apply is action, and to experience is transformation. So I have transformed in last 5 years after trying my hands at multiple cocktails, because time has a wonderful way of showing us what really matters. So people, we are supposed to change. If you look at the time, we must change with time, because if we don't, then we'll be static. So I decided that for these lesions with early collapse, for the people who are have got bigger lesions, the only way out is to give one single solution, and that's a hip replacement. Okay. So if you have one solution to offer which is right, it is this. And I can then go on to have a lot of evidence about this. And there are evidence is such a funny thing. You can find evidence, a devil can cite scripture for murders. So how you look at evidence is important. So we looked at the evidence of the people who have actually done work. So if you look Steenberg, what does it say? Arthroplasty required in almost 90% cases. These are the people who have done the original work in these fields. Michael Mont, we read his article. What does he say? Striking. He says THR is the option. These are the people who are the original people who described AVN. So if the people who have done far more work than us are saying this, then it is important. One argument that is often put across is that it's the economy. Poor people argument shouldn't lead to poor outcomes. And I would stress again that instead of putting people through couple of years of misery and the economic loss, therefore, in name of not doing THR because we are a poor country, I think the time has changed and we should change with time. Osteonecrosis of the hip management in 21st century for the indicated case remains and will always remain till the time something dramatically happens, and it will be THR. I would just end by saying the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who can't read and write, but those who can't learn, unlearn, and relearn. I thank you all for your attention.